everyone, this is Benedek here, very welcome to my channel. Now in this episode we will be discussing about Func Delegates in C#. But first I would like to show you guys something probably interesting for you, that in Hungarian, which is actually my native language, func means a little bit different stuff. Actually this is a func. In Hungarian, of course, it would be kind of very sweet topic for today, though we're not going to deal with this kind of func, but func in programming and C# will be in table for today. So let's define them first. What are these C# funcs? Well, C# includes built-in generic types for many methods to be mapped to a variable, like func and action. So this way you do not need to define custom delegates manually in most of the time, because you can rely on these built-in ones. So func is a generic delegate included in the system's namespace, and it has 0 or many input parameters and exactly 1 out parameter, meaning that it is the returned value of the function which is mapped to the instance of the func delegate. Alright, let's check it in code. Alright, I have a Visual Studio open in with a new project for this demonstration. So let's see a simple example for these func delegates. Alright, let's create a public static string method which will return us a simple greeting message. Let's say good morning, for example. And for this we would like to create a func delegate which is matching to this signature of that method. Alright, so it should be also public static, and it will be a func of type string, and it will have a name of say hello, and I would like to map this method to it like this. And as you can see, now I can call it by the name of this func delegate, and note that here, as I have mentioned, there should be the parameters of the method which will be mapped to it, and if you do not have any input parameters of this method, then you have to specify the return value of that function. So, but if there would be many input parameters, first they are coming here, and only the last element should be the return parameter. Alright, let's call it this say hello, and it will return actually a string value to us. So we will have to say the console write line, and we have to pass it in, and of course don't forget the console read key, which is required us to see something or anything basically, right? Hit F5 to run this application, and as you can see it says good morning. Cool. But now let's modify this little example a little bit. So let's say I would like to greet the users by their name, so I would like to have here an input parameter of type string, and it will be a name. Okay, so let's say that good morning plus the name. Okay. And it says an error, no overload for get greeting matches delegate func of type string, meaning that it is no longer, this definition no longer describes this stuff. Why? Because this func delegate describes any method, any empty method with a return type of string, but here we have an input parameter as well, so we have to define that input parameter like this. So as you can see, this first one will be considered as an input parameter. So it is for this one, and this is for this return parameter. Alright, and it says an error because obviously we need to pass in a name or a string. Yeah, and now it's working just like that. Okay, the second example will be a little bit more complex one, so let's just clean up the first example a little bit. It will be adding two numbers together. So let's say public static int some numbers, and it will be int like x and int z, and I will just add them of course together. And here I am going to define a func delegate for this guy, so this function. Note that this function has actually two input parameters and one return parameter. Now they are all the same of type, so they are all ints, but it doesn't really matter. Now I'm going to define a func delegate for this public static, and I will say func, and now I have to specify the input parameters. So first one will be of course for the x, and its type is int, so I am putting in int. The second will be the second input parameter, which is z, and its input parameter, its type is int. And now comes the out parameter, which is this guy, and it is also an int. Okay. Now I have to name this func somehow, so let's say that add numbers, because that's what it does. And now I can map this function to this func typed variable. Okay. And now I can test it out. Actually, I can create an int variable called result, and I can assign the return value of this delegate, basically, of this func delegate. So let's say 140 plus 5, so it will be 145, which will be displayed on the screen by this example. So we will see 145, actually it is 145, so it is working. Alright, there will be one more examples. I am going to show you how to do this without you know, creating a function for this, because we can achieve exactly the same or yeah, basically exactly the same without defining this pointless function. But we can pass in actually an anonymous function to here, or a lambda expression. So I can take it from here, I can delete that out. Alright, and I can just simply assign this to there, and as you can see, it will work just like before. Okay guys, I hope it was enough for today, and I hope you liked it. If so, please give me a thumbs up, please share, comment, and consider subscribing to my channel, and have an absolutely wonderful day wherever you are. Be safe out there. Bye.